Hey, this is Matt. Once again, what about videos, another paid request, this time for Jonathan. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, topics, reactions, commenters, what have you, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for the film Rumblefish from 1983. Now, this is a film that's very highly reviewed, has a 7.79 to B. It's directed by Francis Ford Coppola, who did The Godfather, among many other films. It stars Matt Dillon, Mickey Rourke, Dennis Hopper's in the film. You got Chris Penn, Nicolas Cage, Lawrence Fishburne. So definitely some recognizable people. I think Diane Lane is in the film. So it's a pretty good cast. It's based on a novel, the same writer who did The Outsiders. Now, here's the thing. Francis Ford Coppola, I'm not a fan of the person. I don't know if I'll get into here, but there's reasons why I'm not a fan of the person. Mainly his dealings with Victor Salva and defending the guy and all the other stuff. Because Victor Salva was Francis Ford Coppola's pupil. Certain things happen. Francis Ford Coppola helped Victor Salva get a slap on the wrist. Told the young actor who was accosted by Salva, "You'll never work in this town again." All that jazz. I think he's a vile human being. But even his films, I was never big on his films. I was never a Godfather guy. I'm more into Goodfellas. I'm more into Scarface. I'm more into Casino. I do say I'm more into Scorsese or Brian De Palma guy than a Francis Ford Coppola guy. Not just person-wise, but directing-wise. Bram Stoker's Dracula is okay. Jack with Robert Williams, I was never big into. The Outsiders is there. I would say I like that more than this. This I flat out did not like. Outsiders I could deal with. The Godfather films just not my cup of tea. They're not bad films. They're just not my cup of tea. But this I did not care for at all. I thought I get some of the visual aesthetics of being black and white and trying to have a different feel to it. Like I said, the cast I mentioned is interesting. Matt Dillon is a younger guy named Rusty James, and you know his name is Rusty James because everybody keeps repeating Rusty James. How you doing, Rusty James? Are you okay, Rusty James? Okay then, Rusty James. We're doing well. How about, are you doing well, Rusty James? They keep repeating that over and over and over again. It's a drinking game. How many times people say the full Rusty James? Kiss a rusty knob for all I care. God, that got so irritating quick. Really quick. And his group of buddies, you have Nicolas Cage, who is related to Francis Ford Coppola. It's like, I think, the nephew of Francis Ford Coppola. You have Chris Penn, may he rest in peace. The kind of part of the group with Matt Dillon, who likes to go into rumbles, likes to go into fights, likes to lead his guys into these fights. There's always remembrance of his older brother, who's a living legend, local legend, known as the Motorcycle Boy. You know, there's graffiti, the Motorcycle Boy reigns. It's like he wants to live up to his brother's name. Him and Mickey Rourke are brothers. Their dad is played by Dennis Hopper. He's been an alcoholic. William Smith, Conan's dad in the original Conan the Barbarian. William Smith, he would fight Clint Eastwood at the end of Any Which Way You Can. He's been in a lot of other films. He was in Maniac Cop. He plays a police officer. That's on Matt Dillon's case. And especially on Mickey Rourke's case. Diane Lane plays Matt Dillon's kind of girlfriend. Lawrence Fishburne is a guy who brings a message to Matt Dillon about this other gang. And just, I thought the acting was shitty. Surprisingly bad. Matt Dillon, the way he utilized his dialogue, it felt off, it felt forced, it felt awkward. I just thought it was a really bad. He's like forcing this accent and the style of talking out of his mouth. It didn't feel natural. I thought he was a. This was like the worst Matt Dillon performance I've seen, and he's a good actor. I even like that film, The House That Jack Built, although I think it's a bit overlong and it's self-indulgent, but I did like that movie. He is a good actor. I grew up more with Kevin Dillon with films like the Blob remake, but Matt Dillon, this is easily his worst performance to me. I didn't care for the way he was talking. His accent didn't feel natural. This, I don't know how else to explain it. And he gets in this fight with a guy who cuts him with a piece of glass, and Mickey Rourke is there, who literally throws a motorcycle, and the guy gets hit and does like a bat flip, which I get the idea that he got hit by the motorcycle, but when he does the bat flip, it seemed like one of those, like he got hit by a grenade, like he was on one of those things, and then you hit the button, so you fly backwards. That's what it looked like. So I get the idea, but it made me laugh with how big of a flip it was. And Mickey Rourke, I didn't care for his performance either. It's very whispery for performance. Hey, my name is Mickey Rourke, and I'm talking like this throughout the entire movie. And from what I understand, reading up on it, the crew called him Mumblefish because he was mumbling his lines. You could barely hear what he was saying. So Mickey Rourke is doing the whole performance like this. And I know he does a lot of performances like this, but films like Angel Heart, much stronger performance. The Wrestler, much stronger performance. I did more of an emotional palette with Mickey Rourke in those films. Even Diner. I think he did a lot better work than this. The whole thing, he's talking like this, and he's talking about, this whisper mumble mouth about the fish. Need to get the fish. Need to release the fish. If you don't lead people, you have to have somewhere to go. I mean, did he take a fucking sleeping pill before and after every fucking scene? This is like one of the weakest performances I've seen Mickey Rourke. Can't say the weakest, because some of his direct-to-video stuff. But like, especially early on, this is the weakest I've seen from him. Just whisper, whisper. Nick Cage, he's getting his feet wet, and he's not as... He needs a bit more work. Lawrence Fishburne's fine, but he doesn't have much to do. Chris Penn is fine, but he doesn't have much to do. You have a little bit of a love story between Matt Dillon and Diane Lane, where she's saying, well, you're smart, you're just not word smart. Talked with Mickey Rourke, and them, I guess, trying to bond again. Those two talked with their dad, and the dad, being a bit of a drunk. Matt Dillon hanging out with Mickey Rourke, finding out that Mickey Rourke apparently saw their mother in California and didn't tell him, so he gets pissed at Rourke for that. At one point, Matt Dillon gets mugged, beaten up, hit in the head, and you have this scene that just made me laugh. I know it wasn't supposed to make me laugh, but it made me laugh because Matt Dillon gets knocked out. I guess he dies for a bit because there's a shot where he's on the ground and then his body's lifting up. And he's waking up, and he's doing this. I'm like, is he going to do Superman? No, more like Peter Pan. He flies like Peter Pan, and above his girl who's crying, above his friends who give him a toast, and he's like on the, like this. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, we're supposed to take that seriously? He's like, I am Superman, and I can do anything. More like Peter Pan, Peter Pecker, Pickle Peppers. I don't care if that was in the book. It looked ridiculous in the movie. It looked fucking ridiculous. And then Mickey Ward saves Matt Dillon, beats some people up. Nicolas Cage pops back to tell Matt Dillon, listen, Rusty James. Like, no one wants to call him just Russ or Rusty. It's ought to be Rusty James, Rusty James. Nobody wants to follow you because you get people killed. And no one wants to get killed. So I guess just to show, hey, I'm Nick Cage, I'm taking over. If you think there's going to be a big battle, big fight, big argument, no. William Smith keeps watching them, but he's more against Mickey Ward, even though Mickey Ward's not doing anything. Like, Matt Dillon's the one getting into fights. Matt Dillon's the one being a bit more animated and badly acted. But William Smith just has a hard-on for Mickey Ward's character. Mickey Ward is obsessed with this fish that are the only... I thought this was a nice effect, like the way they did with the fish are the only things with color in it. So it's the whole black and white movie, but then the fish in this tank is colored. I like that effect. Obviously to show the importance of this. And he tries to say something deep about how this fish, they try to kill themselves, find their own reflection if they could. Which is absolutely just almost in a clunky way reinforced with spoiler alert. You find out after a whole boatload of just unnatural acting, they try to steal some stuff. Mickey Ward steals his fish. He's literally just tearing the fish like this, and William Smith just murders him. Outright murders him. Because he had no gun. His arms were literally holding fish, like a tank with his fish. Matt Dillon finds him dead. He doesn't really give a whole lot of emotion at first. And then they're trying to arrest him. And then he sees his reflection on the police car window. And remember what I said, Mickey Ward said? You know, fish that would see the reflection and try to kill it. He sees his reflection, tries to punch it as if he doesn't like who he is or he doesn't like who he'll become. And Matt Dillon then does some ugly crying. Does a bit of ugly crying. The cops get away with murdering an unarmed guy. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They just got away murdering an unarmed guy. And you think, okay, Matt Dillon wants to get some revenge. Or someone's going to want to get some revenge. Because, again, Mickey Ward was not armed. Dennis Hopper is there, and he has barely any reaction to his son's death. Just kind of turns, has a drink, and walks away. And then Matt Dillon kind of rides off to, I guess, the ocean, because Mickey Ward told him to go to the ocean, and that's a place Mickey Ward's character never went to. And then the movie ends. What's going to happen afterward? Is Matt Dillon going to, I guess, try to find a job there? I don't know. Is there... Like, it brings up stuff like the whole mother. Is it on a point where he's going to try to find his mother? Going to try to reconnect to his mother? Because at first is like, oh, well, the mom and Mickey Ward are crazy. No, they're just on a different wavelength. Again, is he going to try to reconnect with his love and Diane Lane and try to go straight? No, that never comes to any fruition. Is he going to try to find his mom? No. That whole bit is pretty much dropped. Is he going to try to kill the cop that killed his brother, but then he has to come to a either realization or a choice to either kill him or not kill him, and he doesn't kill him because he knows it would ruin his life? No, none of this ever comes into fruition, so it's really kind of a lousy meh ending, to me at least. I'm sorry, I'm not going to give it a praise because it's directed by Francis Ford Coppola. I don't give a fuck who directed it. I don't give a fuck if it was the Pope. I don't give a fuck if it was Jesus himself came back to direct the movie. If I liked it, I liked it. If I don't, I don't. And this film I thought was really boring. I thought the acting was completely dog shit and unnatural. I thought Matt Dillon and Mickey Ward gave some of their worst performances. One was Mumblefish, and one was just awkward and unnatural. Nick Cage, again, he's kind of in it from time to time, and he needs a bit more work. He did get better. Okay, Sean, black and white, cool. I don't care. That doesn't. I don't care. The story, I thought was pretty stagnant and didn't have much depth and didn't have much of emotional payoff. And if you even if you never read the book and you watch it, you can kind of predict what's going to happen with Mickey Rourke's character. You can just kind of predict it. It just seemed like it'd be one of those movies where something like this would happen. If it didn't happen, it would have been more surprising, to be honest. And even the ending is like, okay, is he going to go find his mom? Is he going to do this? Is he going to find a job? Is he going to be the new motorcycle boy? Whatever the hell. There's some decent shots with how certain actors are put into different frame of the camera. So like one guy's face is here, and you see another guy in the background here. So there's some decent framing moments of direction. I do think Francis Ford Coppola is very capable on that front. The whole Matt Dillon leaving his body out of body experience, I thought was more goofy and silly than anything else. The soundtrack's trying to be a bit unique, but at the same time, I didn't care for the soundtrack in this. I really didn't. I think Outsiders helped because he had a hell of a cast. And that's a film I like okay, but I don't love it. But it's okay. But really, that's only okay for me because, like, wow, there's Tom Cruise and Emilio Estevez and Ralph Macchio and C. Thomas Howell and this and this. This, not as much. And, wasn't my cup of tea. If it was for you, cool. Wasn't for me. With that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later.